forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God, light of my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken, but I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God, light of my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken, but I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to consider and answer me, O Lord my God, light of my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken, but I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to consider and answer me, O Lord my God, light of my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken, but I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God, light up my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken, but I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God, light up my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken, but I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to consider and answer me, O Lord my God, light up my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken, but I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to consider and answer me, O Lord my God, light up my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken, but I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God, light up my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice because I am shaken, but I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Brad here. Hope you're having a blessed day wherever, whenever you're watching this Bible study, get together, prayer, hangout, community, thingamabob. Hope you're having a blessed day. We're going to continue on in second chapter of Samuel 2, and we're going to continue in the chapter is 19, and we're going to continue on to finish up 19 and go through the rest of 19. Let's just say that things get a little bit interesting. Well, the whole thing is interesting. Let the politics begin. Let's just say that. Not let them begin. Let them be continuing. Let them see them on display. It's ridiculous. The people are going to start posturing. And, well, when the king comes back, so you're going to get in trouble. Hey, nah, David's back. Something like that, right? Well, let's scroll to the top, see who's here. And only 10 of you guys have said the thumbs up. Come on now. There's 32 of you. Thumbs up. Come on, please. Anyway, good morning to Danny, Pepper, Leah, Meg, Yarn, Prepper, Lola, Granola, Moni. Good morning to Little Miss Prepper, Jeanette, Lax, Pepper, Leah, Plan with Jen, Jeanette, Don, Crisp, Meg, Delaney B. Good morning to Steve, Gunning, Tammy. How you doing? Good to see you. BP Devo, Martha, Meg. Let's see, Jeanette, Yarn Prepper, Pepper, Leah, Meg, Becky, Dawn, Lucy, and many more. Hope you're having a blessed day. Clink, swig, and let's get busy. All right. Let's scroll to the second book, 2 Samuel 19. Let's read the second part of it. Okay, the quickest recap. Joab rebukes David. They won. Joab rebukes David. David's still, he's completely distraught from the death of his son Absalom. Even though 20,000 people died, Joab talks some sense into him. David relents, and he goes to fake it. And now they're going to come back into Jerusalem. So, here we go. Now David, I'm reading the chapter title. Sorry about that. Let me read the actual scripture instead of the title. Now Israel had fled, every man to his own home, and all the people were arguing throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, the king delivered us from the hand of our enemies and saved us from the hand of the Philistines, and now he has fled out of the land from Absalom. But Absalom, who we anointed over us, is dead in battle. Now, therefore, why do you say nothing about bringing back the king? And King David sent this message to Zadok and Abiathar, the priests. Say to the elders of Judah, why should you be last to bring the king back to his house when the word of all Israel has come to the king? You are my brothers, you are my bone and my flesh. Why then should you be the last to bring back the king? And say to Amasa, are you not my flesh and bone? God do to me and more so, if you are not commander of my army from now on in place of Joab. And he swayed the heart of all the men of Judah as one man, so that they sent word to the king, "Return, both you and all your servants." So the king came back to Jordan, and Judah came back to Gilgal to meet the king and to bring the king over the Jordan. And Shimei, the son of Gera, the Benjaminite, from Bahurim, hurried to come down with the men of Judah to meet the king David. And with him were 1,000 men from Benjamin. And Ziba, the servant of the house of Saul, with his 15 sons and his 20 servants, rushed down to the Jordan before the king. And they crossed the ford to bring over the king's household and to do his pleasure. And Shimei, the son of Gera, fell down before the king, and as he was about to cross the Jordan, and said to the king, "Let not my lord hold me guilty, or remember how your servant did wrong on that day my lord the king left Jerusalem. Do not let the king take it to heart, for your servant knows that I have sinned. Therefore, behold, I have come this day, the first of all the house of Joseph, to come down to meet you, my lord the king." Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, answered, "Shall not Shimei be put to death for this, because he cursed the Lord's anointed?" But David said, "What have I to do with you, sons of Zeruiah, that you should this day be as an adversary to me? Shall anyone be put to death in Israel this day? For do I not know that I am this day king of Israel?" And the king said to Shimei, "You shall not die." And the king gave him this oath, or his oath. And Mephibosheth, the son of Saul, came down to meet the king. He had neither taken care of his feet, nor trimmed his beard, nor washed his clothes from the day that the king departed until that day. He came back in safety. And when he came to Jerusalem to meet the king said to him, "Why did you not go with me, Mephibosheth?" He answered, "My lord, O king, my servant deceived me. For your servant said to him, I will saddle a donkey for myself, that I may ride on it and go with the king, for your servant is lame. He has slaughtered your servant to my lord." Slaughtered is a different word than slandered. "He has slandered your servant to my lord the king. But my lord the king is like an angel of God. Do therefore what seems good to you. For all my father's house but were men doomed to death before my lord the king, but you set your servant among those who eat at your table. What further right have I than to cry to the king?" And the king said to him, "Why speak any more of your affairs? I have decided. You and Ziba shall divide the land." Then Mephibosheth said, "Oh, let him take it all, since my lord the king has come home safely." Now, Barzillai the Gileadite had come down from Rogelim, and he went on with the king to the Jordan to escort him over the Jordan. Barzillai was a very aged man, 80 years old. He had provided the king with food while he stayed in Mahanaim, for he was a very wealthy man. And the king said to Barzillai, "Come over with me, and I will provide for you with me in Jerusalem." But Barzillai said to the king, "How many years have I still to live, that I should go up with the king to Jerusalem? I am this day 80 years old. Can I discern what is pleasant and what is not? Can your servant taste what he eats or what he drinks? Can I still listen to the voice of singing men and singing women? Why then should your servant be an added burden to my lord the king? Your servant will go a little way over the Jordan with the king. Why should the king repay me with such a reward? Please let your servant return, that I may die in my own city, near the grave of my father and my mother. But here is your servant, Chimham. Let him go over with the Lord and the king, and do for him whatever seems good to you." And the king answered, "Chimham shall go over with me, and I will do for him whatever seems good to you. And all that you desire of me I will do for you." Then all the people went over the Jordan, and the king went over. And the king blessed Barzillai and blessed him, and he returned to his own home. The king went on to Gilgal, and Chimham went on with him. All the people of Judah and also half the people of Israel brought the king on his way. Now, last few verses. Here we go. Then all the men of Israel came to the king and said, "Why have our brothers, the men of Judah, stolen you away and brought the king and his household over the Jordan, and all David's men with him?" All the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, "Because the king is our close relative." "Why then are you angry over this matter? Have we eaten at the king's expense, or has he given us a gift?" And all the men of Israel answered the men of Judah, "We have 10 shares in the king, and in David also we have more than you. Why then did you despise us? Were we not the first to speak of bringing back our king?" But the words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel. Okay. All right. There's a lot there. We're going to actually skim some of the parts because, a lot of it is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. But let's start with, looks like verses 8 through 10. What you've got here is unrest, division. Okay, so Absalom's dead. The king lived. He's in another city. They won. The coup is over. Now what do? There it is. There's unrest. There's division among the people. Do we take David back? Absalom's gone. What do we do? So there's this whole, who's going to side with the king? Who's going to side with somebody else? What do we do? And so what we see is some of the early adopters were persuaded. Politics. Oh, you want to see something really gross right here? Verse 11, guys. Okay, King David sent this message to Zadok and Abiathar, the priests. Say to Judah, elders of Judah, why should you be the last to bring the king back when the word of all Israel has come to the king? You are my brothers. He is using the church as leverage to try to persuade Judah to come back, for Judah to adopt him as king. If Judah adopts him as king, then politically he's got a great stronghold to return. He can say, well, look, these guys accept me. What about you? So what's he do? He uses God, uses the church. He uses the word of the priests as leverage to sway Judah. And it works. Think about all of the times that you guys have seen political ads or speeches. Think of the Reverend Jackson schlepping whatever politician, including himself, from churches. Who's that other guy? The other race peddler. The one that just everything's racist. It doesn't matter what has going on. The guy that rhymes all the time. Al Sharpton. Yeah. Why don't they stump from churches? Why? They're using God to try to sway voters. It's not just them, though. All of the politicians do it, guys. Oh, my gosh. It's so gross. It's so gross. I can't stand it when you'll see one of these politicians in a church. Take your pick. It does not matter what side they're on. They will all try to use God as leverage to sway you as a voter, to make you think that God is on their side. God's on their side. Even David did it. Gross, huh? All right, moving on. So he's swaying the people. He's swaying the people. He's using whatever he's got. And what happens next? This is a stupid, stupid mistake. So verse 13, Amasa. You guys remember who Amasa is? This was just yesterday and early last week. Do you remember who Amasa is? Amasa is not a delicious corn, fried bread product from south of the border. Masa, no. This is Amasa. He was a general for Absalom. He was Absalom's guy. He was the guy that led the army of Absalom. Okay, he was the general. He was picked specifically by Absalom over bypassing Joab. Now, David's saying, hey, Amasa, come on over, buddy. So he's got to get the church on his side. He's got to get the people thinking that God is on the side of this political candidate, this David. And then he's got to get the military, doesn't he? He's got to get the support of the military. I got God swaying the people. I got to get the military back. Then I can come back. Think about it. And if I get Amasa, everybody's going to fall in line. They're all going to fall in line. So he gives Joab's job away. I wonder if Joab knew. Well, it's going to come back to bite him. You'll see. It's going to come back to bite him, but that's what he did. He just said, well, I know that you're in charge and the people will follow you. So not only is this going to stop another coup, because if Amasa got too big for his britches, he could think, well, David's weak right now. I could just take Israel for myself. The people will follow me. So David took his big job of Joab and gave it to Amasa. I'm sure that's not going to, I'm sure it'll be, Joab will have no problem with this, right? Sure, no problem. I'm sure he's be like, oh, sure, good of Israel. Right. Yeah, no doubt. Give him my job. That doesn't work out, does it? Now, you see people tripping on themselves to get back in the good graces of the king, don't you? Remember Shimei, the guy that was cursing, spitting, throwing rocks? You son of a jackal. I don't know what curse words they would use back then, or phrases, but he was the guy that was doing that, and David said, let him do it. Let him have at it. And isn't it funny that the sons of Zeruiah, they were the first ones back then that wanted to kill that guy? They're like, get this guy out of here. Kill him. Knock it off. And David was the one that says, just let him do his thing. Maybe because he's cursing me, God will bless me. Maybe. Well, isn't it funny that it's the sons of Zeruiah that today, as Shimei comes back, he's groveling. He's saying, I'm sorry, forgive me. Whoops, shouldn't have done that. You son of a motherless goat. What was that from? Krista says, you son of a motherless goat. It was probably from some movie we've seen a long time ago. Yeah. So he's groveling, and David lets him off the hook. And I think what he's doing this as a means of gluing everybody back together. Think about how the North and the South in the Civil War, how there was such hatred and animosity between the North and the South, brother against brother, people dying by unfathomable numbers. And, how do you glue the nation back together? Well, you put this politician here, you grab this guy there, you put this, you make, yes, Three Amigos. Thank you, Steve Gunick. That's the movie that Son of a Motherless Goat came from. Yeah, but you have to glue the nation back together. Well, you got to put the right people in the right place. And sometimes you got to overlook things that were done in war, or else you're never going to put it back together. Now, I am not suggesting you overlook sin. But I am suggesting that that's what these leaders do in order they overlook things that were said and done, like Shimmy, for the sake of gluing it all back together. So, now, this thing with Mephibosheth, this is interesting. Because what we're seeing here, Jonathan, remember David and Jonathan, best buds. Okay? Jonathan's obviously son of Saul, the king. Okay? Then you've got his son is the only survivor of male descent that we know of, right? So Mephibosheth, he is lame. His feet don't work. There's something wrong. He was dropped when he was a child. One of his nursery ladies, in charge ladies, there's a term for it, I'm sure, dropped him. And lo and behold, he does not have the ability like we do to get around. So when David was getting routed out of Jerusalem, if you remember, Ziba, who is Mephibosheth's servant, came to David. He didn't tell Mephibosheth. He didn't tell him. He came to David and said, hey, you know, Jonathan's son, he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I think he's posturing with your enemy. I think he is. I think he's posturing with Absalom. I'm pretty sure he is. But I snuck away, and I got you some stuff. Here it is. Now, what we're seeing here is a different story altogether, aren't we? What we're seeing here is Mephibosheth, he's coming down to meet the king. And he's saying, hey, look, I was in mourning. Look at how scraggly I am. I haven't even cut my nails. Haven't done that. Haven't shaved my beard. Still got dust on my head. Who knows how long. But he's saying that he was basically in mourning, and he's saying that he was lied to. That Ziba snuck around behind his back and tried to stab him in the back and was just posturing with David to look good for David when it was all not true. So remember, David gave him all the lands of Mephibosheth. He's like, give him all. His lands are now Ziba's. Right? So now we are asked to believe one side or the other, aren't we? Or do you believe Ziba or do you believe Mephibosheth? What do you guys think? Was Ziba telling the truth or was Mephibosheth? Because if you read this carefully, one of them's lying. One of them's lying. What do you think? And if you're trying to Google how to spell Mephibosheth, there's a P in there. Mephibo, Seth. Mephibosheth. Or you can just do MEP if you don't want to spell the whole thing out. Mephibosheth or Ziba. Ziba's easy. Z-I-B-A. Who's lying? Just curious. Ruth says, I believe Mephibosheth was telling the truth. Moni says, Mephibosheth, he cares for nothing but that David was alive. Anybody else? Such drama. I agree. And what's changed? What's changed? Ziba is lying. I'm inclined to believe that Mephibosheth, based on prior writing on his character, Ziba lied. Okay. I side with you guys. I think that the guy was just posturing himself to look good. He was hedging his bets. If David lives, great. I'll look good. If David dies, nobody's going to know anything. And David gave me all the lands. before he died. Never mind now. Get out, Mephibosheth. He gave me the lands. I'm sure that happened. I'm sure that when he went back, Ziba, when he went back, he's like, sorry, you're out. Right? All this posturing, all this politicking. Now, okay, so then we come to Barzillai, the Gileadite, right? This is the older gentleman who's super rich and brought them real aid, lots of aid. The king and his people, when they were on the run, he brought them beds, food, wine. He brought them animals, everything that they would need so that it wouldn't be just unbearable. He brought them everything. And now David's trying to repay him. But he's like, look, I'm old. I don't need this. I was trying to restore God's order here. You know what? I can't even really taste food. I can't really do much. This gift is wasted on me. I just want to die with my family. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to live, enjoy life, and then I'm going to die and be buried with my mom and dad and everybody. And if you really want to repay me, take this guy Chimham with you. Okay. So David says, absolutely. I'm going to give him anything you want. Anything. Get after it. So he goes with him. Now, this gets funny, guys. Okay, if you don't think that we're looking at a snapshot of how politics work today, you're not reading this. When I read this next bit, or when I paraphrase it and read bits of it, if you can't see the backpedaling and the posturing of how politicians and media companies and everybody in the public eye, how they will posture and change their tune when they were caught in wrong. When something bad goes wrong. For example, I remember there was some very, very bad, illness that happened recently. And we were told that if you did this, then you're going to be fine. But that didn't work. So then we were told this, if you do this, and we're going to force it, man, we're going to force it on you. If you did that, then you're going to be fine. And it didn't work. And then if you did this, no, this, everybody, we got to get past this one little point. And when we do that, everybody's fine. But it didn't work. And it kept going, if you remember. If you really remember and go back, it was like every few months, things changed. And they were wrong. Well, now the proof has come out that they were wrong, and now the backpedaling starts. Whoa. You know what? I was all about freedom. I was all about this. I'm so glad that I led the path in telling you the truth about everything that was going on. The backpedaling and the blame throwing. You know what? You need a blame thrower. Because watch this. This is the same thing that's happening now. Now that the king is coming back. 2 Samuel, right? The king is coming back. Now everybody's like, well, we have more. We were supporting the king. Well, yeah, you were supporting the. We have 10 shares. Oh, yeah? Well, we're the first ones to adopt the king. Oh, really? And they're fighting over who was the more ardent supporter of the king. I'm going to read this last bit. We're probably going to go over a little bit today, just so you guys know. Verse 41. Then all the men of Israel came to the king and said to the king, why have our brothers, the men of Judah, stolen you away and brought the king and his household over the Jordan, and all David's men with him? All the men of Judah answered to the men of Israel, because the king is our close relative. Why then are you angry over this matter? Have we eaten at all at the king's expense, or has he given us any gift? And the men of Israel answered the men of Judah, we have 10 shares in the king, and in David also we have more than you. Why then did you despise us? Were we not the first to speak of bringing back our king? But the words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel. Now, let me just pop this in your brain pan, in your brain hole. Go in the ear hole, go into the brain hole. Okay? How long ago was it that these people were actively trying to kill the king? Was it days? Was it a week? Was it 2 weeks? We don't know, but my point is these guys were actively trying to kill the king and all his men, and now they're like, well, wait a minute. We have more shares in the king than you do. Oh, so you think you're in Judah? La-dee-da-dee-da. Oh, okay, well, guess what? Doesn't this look similar to you guys? Doesn't it look similar? Because nothing new is under the sun, folks. That's right. Greed is still greed. Lust is still lust. Posturing is still posturing. Wanting to keep your place is still the same. Politics are politics. Yep. So, when we're reading these things, guys, it's like you're looking out into a window that was written a long time ago, but boy, doesn't it just look just about the same as it is today. Just change the titles, change the situation, and the attitudes and posturing and fighting and bickering and politics, they're all the same, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. I'm not going to read that BP Devo, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to read it. You know, when all that stuff was going on, like BP Devo's talking about, we got yelled at in a Walmart. A woman came up and yelled at us and said we were murderers for not having that thing on our face. Murderers. Yelled at us multiple times. I wonder if she's going to apologize the next time we see her. My guess is probably not. Look, guys, nothing's new under the sun. Now, here's the issue. When it comes to folks like that, maybe encounters that you may have had, is there forgiveness? I hope so. I hope that in my heart of hearts, I can say, you know what? That person was uninformed and she was passionate and she really did believe what was being told to her on the TV. She believed it. And now she sees me and thinks I'm really truthfully harming people. Now, whether or not she sees the truth of what happened and starts telling people that she was sorry, well, that's not my business, is it? Because in my heart of hearts, I'm supposed to forgive her regardless of whether she forgives me or not. You following what I'm saying? Whether she does or not, I don't have control of that. What I have control over is, okay, that woman was berating us publicly and humiliating me and my wife. But I forgive her. I forgive her. Now, I'm not stupid enough to forget. If I ever met her again, I'd probably just quietly go to a different aisle if I saw her. But, you know, do I forgive her? Yeah. But that's the kind of thing. It's like if you're in a situation, here's a for instance. If you're in a situation where, let's say at work, you get in an argument with somebody, and they're constantly berating you, being nasty. And then one day they have a physical altercation and they knock you. Maybe they hit you. Well, first of all, there's laws against that. That's number one. You don't have to take that. But let's say that you end up staying in that work situation. Well, you can forgive that person, and you should forgive that person. However, don't be caught in the same situation that you were. Don't allow yourself to be back in that situation again. Just choose to avoid them. And if your bosses say, hey, what are you doing? You can explain it. And then if they don't do it, then they're in trouble for allowing it to happen. Here's the point. Forgiveness, it happens for both the forgiver and the forgivee. And in this case, for that lady berating us, she may never, ever meet me again. She may never think that she needs to ask for forgiveness. She may think she's right. She may still be mad at the fact that we blah, 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 right? Fill in the blank. Well, it's not up to me to decide whether or not she forgives us or not, but it is up for me to decide whether I forgive her for being nasty to us. You see how that works? That's how it works. Pepper Leah says we do have to forgive. Fear causes people to behave irrationally so many times. I agree, Pepper Leah. However, it's no excuse. I know what you're saying, and I agree that fear does make people do stupid things. However, that's no excuse for sinning against somebody else. We always try to rationalize and make it okay, like after the fact. Like, well, I felt threatened, or I did this, or I did that. When the reality is, it's still sin, and you still shouldn't have done it, and now you're just trying to make it sound like it's okay that you did what you did because you were scared. When it's not okay. I'm not suggesting you're saying that. I'm just bouncing off your comment. Ruth says, I had to change one of my docs who raked me over the coals for probably, yeah. By the way, I encourage you to do this. This is a tiny little act of civil disobedience that, I'm starting to do. Every time I go to the doctor, every time I go to any place that forces me to add what, how do they put it? What lineage, what your background is, whether you're a white person, black person, Asian person, Mexican person, / this, / that, however you identify. Because it says now on these forms, how do you identify? I change it every time. Today I feel like I'm Latin. And you know what? This is one tiny little way you can screw up their record keeping and make things hard for them because they shouldn't ask. It's flat out actually racism that they're asking. Meg, answer, but just change it every time. That's what I do. I was even a potted plant once. Ask Krista. I put in because if they give you a little, I love it when you give the box, but it's just a line, and then you can fill in whatever you want. Oh, today I identify as a potted plant. And I did. And the doctor came in and he was like, wow, never met a potted plant before. Change it every time. See what happens. And then if they say, you're not of this, you're not of that. And I'll say, yes, I am. We were having this conversation yesterday, Krista, because something came in the mail. They were trying to figure out who gets internet and who doesn't. This is true. Scouts Honor, a little card came in the mail. They're trying to figure out where grant money goes to decide who gets good internet and who doesn't. And there was a big chunk of this form that said, are you black? Are you half black? Are you immigrant? Are you Mexican? Are you Latin? Are you this or you that? And all they're doing is trying to decide by the grant money which color skin gets the more goodies. That's what they're doing. So I'm checking boxes. Well, Krista is going to be this and I'll be that. And Krista was in on it. So start changing it every time. Because it's not real and it's not fair. Anyway, sorry. I have digressed, and it's 9:10. So here's the scoop, guys. Don't forget, let's see, it's the 28th. How many of you guys all signed up for WYSIWYG Ministries? Because in 1, 2, 3, Monday, when we see you on Monday, there won't be anybody here. You got to be over at WYSIWYG. You got to remember, go to WYSIWYG. If you're not there, you're going to click on this and go, where's Brad? And I won't be here. We're going to be over there. WYSIWYG Ministries. So good. All right. Let's pray. And by the way, don't forget to get on the... Actually, I got something to share with you. So hang tight after the prayer. Here we go. Father God, thank you for how you love us. Please help us not to take that for granted. And Lord, please help us not to waste the day. Help us to take advantage of the blessing you've given us of the time we have, and help us to be good stewards of it. Amen. All right, guys. So, cool. Monday, nobody's going to be here. I'm going to keep reminding you. So please forgive me for the verbal blah, 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 because it's going to be coming. Second thing, if you're not already on the forum at WYSIWYGministries.com, please sign up there, because I'm going to start putting more and more memes, funny memes that you can share on your social media that point to what we're doing, because we should be spreading the gospel. And this is an easy way for you guys to drag, drop, or click, drop, any old thing, right? BP Devo is YouTube. It's always been YouTube. It's never been for our live stream. It's always been YouTube. I'm talking about a separation. We've got YouTube over here. That's this. This is this. The website is completely different. That's where you can go and chat. You can pray. You can voice concerns. You can share. I think I saw, who did I see? Ask Hermit. I think Ask Hermit posts poetry. It's great. It's great. I know Moni is over there sharing prayer concerns and praying for people. I've seen a lot of you guys over there. Get over there and talk. Get over there and chat. And let's grow this community. So, that said, share the songs, download them, get over there. So here we go. See ya Wednesday. Engage. See you back on Thursday. Don't forget, if you're not going to be here on Monday, it'll be because you didn't sign up. Have a blessed day. Bye.
I therefore, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you...
Hey, Delaney B, you just caught my eye. She's saying, I'll ask Dad about it later. Probably, I'm assuming, about getting on the forum. Just so you know, there's Tiger. He's going to have to wait. You're going to wait, pal. I'm still talking. You're waiting. Watch this. Oh, I'll call you later. Yeah, so sorry, distracted. Just so you know, there are filters for language on the site, and there are filters for everybody has to go through me before they sign up. That doesn't mean I catch everybody, because sometimes people name names that are not truthful. They'll, and you'll get like some company posting something, but as soon as I see it, I bounce them. Just so you know that you could tell your dad, hey, you want to help be a moderator? You can help be a moderator. We need moderators. So just so you know. All right, here's the song again. Bye.
I therefore, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to walk in have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit. In the bond of peace there is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to the one hope that belongs to your call. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all. But grace was given to each one of us according to the measure of Christ's gift. Therefore it says, when He ascended on high, He led a host of captives, and He gave gifts to men. In saying He ascended, what does it mean but that He had also descended into the lower regions, the earth? He who descended is the one who also ascended far above all the heavens, that He might fill all things. And He gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the shepherds and teachers, to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for building up the body of Christ, until we all attain to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to mature manhood, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, so that we may no longer be children, tossed to and fro by the waves and carried about by every wind of doctrine, by human cunning, by craftiness, in deceitful schemes, rather speaking the truth in love. We are to grow up in every way into Him who is the head, into Christ, from whom the whole body, joined and held together by every joint with which it is equipped, when each part is working properly, makes the body grow so that it builds itself up in love. Now this I say and testify in the Lord, that you must no longer walk as the Gentiles do, in the futility of their minds. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to their hardness of heart. They have become callous and have given themselves up to sensuality, greedy to practice every kind of impurity. But that that is not the way you learned Christ, assuming that you have heard about him and were taught in him as the truth is in Jesus, to put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. Therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor. For we are members of one another. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and give no opportunity to the devil. Let the thief no longer steal, but rather let him labor doing honest work with his own hands, so that he might have something to share with anyone in need. Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouth, but only such as is good for building up as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear, and do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave